Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Darling. There's a guy that lives here in Vegas that shows off these luxury homes. I guess he's a realtor or whatever on TikTok. And a lot of times the homes are starting at anywhere from about $650,000 up to, I've seen homes about $1.5 million that he's showing. And a lot of times these homes, these luxury homes, are what I would consider to be just regular modern day houses. Like the one he's showing off right here. This house is nothing luxurious to me, especially the floor modeling where the living room is taking up so much space, then the kitchen. And I personally am not a fan of this particular house for $1 million. And when you look at the yard, I'm just like, damn, $1 million. And it had me thinking, like, what is the incentive for young people to want to work hard nowadays? If this is what they have to get for $1 million house, they have to work to get $1 million to get something just this fucking basic without a yard in the middle of the desert. And I get it, it's Las Vegas or whatever. And according to him, he's always in the comments fighting for his life, saying there's a lot of money being poured into Vegas and all this other stuff. But that's not even the point. The point is, as you're a young person trying to come up now, you have to get $1 million to get that. Is crazy work, okay? So what is the incentive for a young person in this day and age to want to work hard? And I'm talking about for a company or within this system. I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to work 9 to 5, I'm going to save some money, and then I'm going to try to buy this $1 million home on the outskirts of Vegas in the boonies. That house, not worth $1 million, not even close to $1 million. Something like that, I would see the floor plan or something like that, especially with that yard. In my head, I would think, oh, $350,000. And of course, people are laughing me off the scene right now because the housing market is so inflated or whatever. But it goes back to my point. What are the kids working for right now? What are they working for right now if that is what $1 million home looks like? And then they see that the people that don't work the hardest, the people that step on other people, or the people that take shortcuts, usually get ahead before the people that are working the hardest. The people that are working the hardest will work 50, 60 years and still can't retire or end up getting one illness, and all of the money that they put aside for that illness has taken them back a bit. Young people see this. So when people say, oh, young people are lazy, they don't want to work hard to work, why the fuck would they? Because even if they work hard, wages have been stagnant. They haven't gone up. And if you want to talk about them being decent human beings, right? I get on here, we talk about, oh, them selling sex and sex work and this and da-da-da. I talk about it all the time. But what other fucking option is there? Would you rather fucking do that and try to make you a few $1,000s in a day so you can actually live a decent life? Or do you want to go and punch in on somebody's clock and wear your body down for the next 20, 30 years? That's going to not get you even that $1 million house. What's the incentive? What's the incentive for being a decent person when these young people are saying that the people that are the fucking clowns of the world get ahead before people that are trying to do their best? The people that are trying to do their best constantly are struggling. So why the fuck, if you're coming up logically, would you want to try to go through academia, try to get a regular job, try to work a 9 to 5 when these companies and everybody is outsourcing people and telling you that there's no guarantee that your future is even there? Why wouldn't they follow their dreams? Why wouldn't they be hedonistic, open to all types of debaucherous sex and open to all types of ridiculous relationships and all? Why wouldn't they be open to that when the traditional world has fucking failed them? What would be the incentive for being a decent human being? What would be the incentive right now in 2026 to be a hard worker? When you see somebody like Donald Trump, who's been a piece of shit his whole life, get worshipped by millions and have all the power in the world to do whatever the fuck he wants, what is the incentive when you see that evil wins a lot of the times in this world, in this simulation, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, this reality? Evil tends to get ahead. The people that are the dirtiest, the people that are the meanest, the people that are the most fucked up tend to get ahead above other people. So what is the incentive when people bear witnessing to this for them to do better, to be better? When we see all these women getting online pretty much shaming men for not giving them money, why wouldn't they, when that is an option for them, when you are going to have tricks that are going to just send them money just because they're pretty? Not even for the opportunity to even get next to them, just because they're being shamed into doing it. Why wouldn't they do that when they're able to, right? This world is set up, in my opinion, by demonic forces for evil to win. But the title is a little misleading, even though I'm getting into what the title is about. Why would young people want to be decent? Why would people want to work hard? I'm going to tell you exactly why. You don't do it, at least I'm going to talk about trying to be a decent person. You don't try to be a decent person to manipulate people. And especially, I'm speaking to men particularly. A lot of men will say, I'm nice, I'm good. You want to do that for goodness sake. That's where that comes from. You want to do it in the name of God. You want to be a decent human being. It's not in order to attract women. It's not in order to pat yourself on the back because you're a decent human being. You want to be a decent human being because it is right. That is the reason. Just on the level you want to be a decent human being. I know it's harder for me to sell that to women because women are provisional creatures. They want stuff, as they say.
I'm about to just tell the niggas the real. I want stuff. I want stuff. I'm not here to play. I want stuff. Buy me stuff. Chicago Hottie left her nigga. Said, I want stuff. Buy me stuff. And she got a new nigga buying her stuff. Just like that. Like, just start being real with these niggas. Like, don't cap to these niggas. Don't say you want a relationship. Don't say you want to be in love. Say, I want stuff. Give me stuff. Give me money.
So me telling them that they have to be decent human beings in order to live into a world that requires them to have stuff is a lot harder to sell than me to appeal to the nobility and honor of a man to say, yeah, you have to be good for goodness sake. So that's what I'm speaking to men. It's up to virtuous women to speak to women in that regard. I can sit here and critique it. I can sit here and make fun of it. I could critique the spirit of Lilith that's all over, Western women's society right now. But it falls on deaf ears coming from a man. It's going to take a strong, powerful woman in order to right whatever's going on over there. But as far as men, you want to be good for goodness sake. Why would you want to work hard? And I'm not saying you necessarily want to work hard for another person, or you want to work hard for a company, because fuck these companies, fuck these corporations and all of that, right? That's not why you want to work hard. You want to work hard to sharpen your skills and in order to strengthen your character. It don't have to be for somebody else. It can be for yourself. Working hard don't always necessarily mean that you are clocking into a 9 to 5. Working hard sometimes can mean working for yourself. Sometimes it can just mean working on your body. Sometimes it can just mean working on your spirit. Sometimes it could be a pet project. Sometimes it could be something that you're just pouring your time into that's worth a damn to you. But whatever it is, you're working at it, right? You want to work hard to build yourself. And I'm not saying, and the reason I'm saying that is because it builds experience, right? Regardless of whatever you do. I've been at this social media shit for a long time, over 10 years, right? And a lot of people say, oh, well, you should be farther than you are right now. And yes, I've had a lot of failures doing this. I've lost channels. I've lost money. I've lost a lot of stuff doing this. I've lost real world relationships and all types of stuff doing this social media stuff and this YouTube, short form content, long form, whatever. But in reality, it has made me very experienced in doing this, and where a lot of people are trying to come into the game and learn the stuff that now comes empirically to me. It is a blessing because of all of the years that I've spent working hard to just do just this basic shit of just set up here on this camera, talking, being able to edit and do all the extra stuff that I do sometime on this channel. That is experience that I have gained just by just doing it, right? Even when it comes to, like, let's say, I bring up working out a lot because it's a big part of my life. Whenever I fall off, it's a lot easier for a person like me to get back on than somebody that has never been on, because I've been working at it my whole life. Yeah, I'm not just an Adonis. I'm not going to have this perfect body at fucking 43, 44 years old. That's not what I'm working towards. But my health and everything that I know is because I empirically know myself and I know what I need to do to get to where I need to go, right? Or in order to make myself feel this or what I know myself. And that comes from working hard on myself. That's why you want to work hard. Yes, the incentive may not come from outside sources, but the incentive the reward comes from the effort that you put out. You will get something back personally. It may not be recognition from the world. It may not be recognition from people around you. It may not be recognition from the people that you want to recognize you. But you know what you've done. You know how hard you work to get to where you're trying to go. And even if you never get there, like I've always said, the journey is what is what builds your character. It's not necessarily the destination. If you started at point A and you ended up at Z, all of the other letters in between you didn't get to experience. So when you're at point Z, you don't have no experience. You're just sitting there on top without this experience. That's why people that are born into money sometimes, or people that are born into fame, they don't have the same type of character that people that have to struggle to get to where they are, because they didn't have to build character. They just, they were sat there, they were set up for life just right off the rip. And for people that for the vast majority of people, they don't have that luxury. They do have to build character. They do have to build themselves. So the incentive for working hard is to build yourself and to build your character and your relationship with God. That's why you want to be decent. Honestly, that's the incentive. Not the rewards that you'll get from these people, not the rewards you'll get from the powers that be or anything like that, but the reward you'll get from just being a decent person. And I know sometimes that's not enough for people, and that's something for you or whoever's watching this to determine for themselves. But for me, it's enough for me to try to be as decent as I can, because if I do have to face God at one point, There's nothing I can use as an excuse as to why I was a piece of shit here on this in this world. There's no excuse I have. There's nothing I could tell him when he knows my intentions may have been, you know, ill, or my intentions may have been sinful. I cannot lie to the divine. I cannot lie to myself. I cannot lie to the voice in my head. I have to just be right and righteous for that voice in my head and for myself if I'm going to be able to look myself in the mirror and just continue on. And I want to work hard in order to sharpen my skills and whatever I'm trying to do, in order so I can know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it, or when it's time for my experience to show, I'm there to show up and let my experience show what I can do. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that the young kids right now, they feel like there's not a lot of incentive for them to do better in life, but just trust me, the more good there is in the world, good there is in the people in the world, the more people that are not trying to get over on people, the more people that are not trying to fuck people over or put people in a box, the more people who are trying to be decent for themselves, the more people that treat people the way that they want to be treated, the world will be a better place. You know what I'm saying? It sends evil back into the shadows, but as long as we live in a materialistic world where everybody's like me, evil will continue to flourish and manipulate us all and continue to keep us down and out like we are. But that house in the beginning of this video, not worth $1 million. I'll catch y'all next time. Bye-bye.